If you are a founder who identifies with being a solopreneur, but you hate building alone, this episode is the one for you. My guest, Crystal Corbin, and I are diving into how she's built her own masterminds without spending all of the money that comes with getting in these big mastermind rooms. I cannot wait for you to dive in and hear your thoughts. Welcome to the Overwhelmed and Over It podcast. I'm your host, Gabs, and I'm here to bring you this podcast dedicated specifically to helping founders like you build unforgettable businesses without burning yourself out. I am your productivity permission slip giver so that way you can stop drowning in your to-do list. Each and every week, I will bring you new episodes, either solo or with other incredibly experienced founders along the way, so that way you can learn from their stories, strategies, and lessons. Let's dive into this week's founder. This is a very overdue podcast episode between you and I. You are my longest running founder client.
Yeah.
And I hope that there's never an expiration date because it's my favorite place to spend Wednesday afternoons cracking open both of our businesses and figuring out what we're doing wrong, why we're not focused, and what support we need. So without further ado, Crystal, I'm so excited to welcome you to the podcast. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself and your founder journey?
Yes. Thank you for having me. I've been, faithful listener every week, just waiting my turn.
It's here.
But I am Crystal Corbin. I am founder of the Liquor Connoisseur. We are a spirit review and education podcast that focuses on not just the notes you get out of the spirit, but how you drink them, creating an experience so you can be in the moment and really enjoy what it is, whether it's neat or craft cocktail. We're also, thanks to Gabby, getting ready to offer curated experiences where we do in-home tastings, and coming later this fall, a box where you just add the booze. Looking forward to selling hot toddy boxes.
I'm so excited. Yes, we have been working on this. And I love that you guys call yourselves an experience brand because that's where I've landed is helping craft experiences for you as a founder and also for your business. But I think it really does speak to how you guys elevate what it means to be a connoisseur. And I think that this can be applied across different industries. So I'm excited for us to talk about this because I know that you've had several light bulb moments in your founder journey because for many of them, I've been along the ride. As a founder, we all have these moments where we're like, that's it. I'm throwing in the towel. I don't have it in me anymore. Or what the heck was I even thinking getting into this? And then when we get through it to the other side, there is our biggest lesson we've had to date. So I'd love to know what has been your biggest light bulb moment as the founder of the Liquor Connoisseur.
Oh man, biggest light bulb moment. Just knowing that what we're doing matters and has an impact. We're starting to get companies to reach out to us to review their brands. We just got invited to an event at OSU for Ho Chi Town, just out of the blue. Yeah, irony, because the distiller's name is Blue. But they sent us a message asking if we could come to an event they were hosting that week. And so it was just good to know to have that validation. Because I mean, you see the clicks, you see, you can get discouraged if on Instagram you're only getting like five people that like your reel and things like that. So it's good to see that the industry is accepting us and wants us to help spread the word about their brands.
Yeah. And I love that. It's something you and I've talked about a lot, right? Is we can get so caught up, especially you and I both have similar professional backgrounds in project and product management. So we're really used to using metrics to measure success. But I think it's really easy as a founder to get caught up on the wrong metrics.
Mhm.
How many followers do I have? How many engagements did I get? How many videos did I post? And we get really focused on the very small, minute things that we could or should be doing. And then before we realize it, we look up and an entire quarter has gone by and we didn't actually provide value to our own business, right? And so
Yes,
I love that being able to break yourself free from that means you're actually celebrating your wins because you are building a network for yourself. You are building a name for yourself in this industry. And that's what it's really about when you're working on something, especially for you, that's so much of a passion project and not just a business.
definitely. But I mean, I have lost my way a couple of times. It has turned into a business and no longer a passion, especially when I went to an event in Brooklyn back in June. I was so excited. I didn't sleep probably for 4 days, got all this footage, thought it was going to be great. And then my audio wasn't great. And then which is and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and it really spiraled me down for about a month, but it was something I had to learn to grow from. And when I came out on the other side, it was like, okay, you bit off too much than you could chew. How do we bring it back down? How do we make it work within everything you can do?
Yes, I like to say being a founder is like the MBA that never ends, right? Like we never get to the end of this degree because there's always another project, there's always another book, there's always another teacher, another lesson. As I think about the founders that have come on this podcast, and then a lot of us carry that lifelong learner gene inside of us. Like we loved that ability to get in there, try something, learn, and keep moving. And I don't know about you, but I would say anyone who's thinking about entrepreneurship or becoming a founder, that has to be a skill that you are comfortable living in day to day.
Definitely, definitely. And the other part of me is that working in project management, deadlines. I put unrealistic expectations, knowing good and well it's not science. So that's something I've learned to work through as well.
Yeah, not a science. With one of my earlier guests, we were talking about when we both started our founder journey, we are Googling, like, where's the checklist for 10 things to do as a founder or the 75 things you need to set up before you launch your business. And there isn't one, spoiler alert, or at least not one that's like a one size fits all. And I think that speaks to the power of, even if you are in the same industry or doing the same type of work or have a similar background, all of us are still running really unique businesses and they are unique to us. So there isn't going to be this one size fits all checklist or book that you can read, but instead it's building these partnerships and learning along the way.
Definitely.
Would you consider yourself a solopreneur? I know Roger's on the podcast with you, but would you identify or consider yourself a solopreneur?
I do identify as a solopreneur. Love my husband. He is awesome. Catch the show to see his personality, but I do a lot of the groundwork. I did a lot of the work to put the business together, and you really use him as well as your business as consulting to make sure, am I on the right path? Am I looking at this right? Am I being too strict, too harsh? Is this too much information? Those sorts of things. Got a lot of springboards.
And I wanted to bring that up because I know I for sure struggled with this in the very beginning. Was this, it had to be me. I had to be the one doing all the things. Like this is my business, so I have to be the one doing all of it. And so I think there's a couple parts of that. There's one, the ownership piece, where like we're just so proud of what we're doing and what we're building. We want to be a part of all the things that are happening. But then I think there's this other side of it where it's like, you when we call ourselves solopreneurs, inherently we think that means we have to do this alone. I joked in the beginning of the call, but I sincerely mean it. Like Crystal and I meet every Wednesday at the end of the day and we just lay it all out there. What's going on, what's working, what's not. And that partnership was the very first time I realized I actually don't have to be alone as a solopreneur. And it has opened the door for you to bring in other partners and have other conversations, but as well as I am. And it's really powerful because when you're in it, when you are in the day to day of being a founder, you forget what it's like to take a step back and have this 10,000-foot view of your business and where you're going and what you're planning for. And so I bring that up because I want people to know out there, it doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to hire a coach or that you have to go join a mastermind or you have to go to a retreat. Like all of those things are great and they have their place in this. But that's why this podcast exists. So you can find other founders who have been through your journey or are going to go through your journey and you guys can do it together. Anything you would add to that?
No, that is a good point. You can create your own mastermind or brainstorm battle buddy, as you like to say. Because I mean, I'm in about three now. We have ours. We have one with a mutual friend, and then I've got one with some other friends within the industry. That has been great for me to bring ideas to life. And I'm an overthinker. I think way too much, so it helps for someone else to do some of the thinking for me at times. But
Yeah.
also going back to being a solopreneur, working with my partner is a lot, but we make it work by going to our strengths. And so I do a lot of the business. We still have a family to raise, so he does a lot of that. So we trade off.
Yes. Shout out to the true CEOs, which we call the chief encouragement officers,
Yes,
because we both are very lucky to have those in our life and who we're building a home life with, but also have been an integral part of every single step of this founder journey. So it is kind of crazy, right? When you think, oh, even identifying as a solopreneur, I was doing this thing alone, whether it was friends, it was family, it was life partners, whatever, like there are people behind you cheering for this work that you're doing. And I think it's just a place where we have to be willing to lean into that and open the door to having that conversation.
definitely.
All right. What is the thing right now that's keeping you up at night about the business? I have a guess, but I want you to tell me, then I'll let you know if my guess is right.
Oh man, that keeps me up at night. Editing.
I thought we fixed that problem.
It doesn't have the flow necessary yet. So we did hire an editor, but I've got to get 4 episodes to him. But I also have to keep content going while we get that flow going. So right now it's editing, but it's editing with a purpose. But the con of what's keeping me up at night is just being able to get everything done.
Hmm. The time management piece and structuring what part is moves the needle the most.
Yeah.
Being an overthinker doesn't help with that.
No, not at all. Or the 4 checklist I live by. I'm still wondering what your guess was as to what keeps me up at night.
Oh, yeah, it definitely had something to do with the list
Okay.
and the boxes. I was like, we've been talking about these boxes for a while now.
Okay, so fun fact with the boxes, it hit me about 10:30 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday that, oh crap, it's fall, y'all. I need to get these boxes done. That's part of the getting everything done.
Crystal's known to have a notebook and a pen.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, I am so glad that we got to do this. You know, you hold a very special place in my founder heart. And I'm coming home to visit in a month, and I cannot wait to come and see you in person. We always just change the worlds when the two of us are in a room together. So very excited for that. And I love to close it out, as I always do, with what's the number one thing you need support or help with right now, so our audience can chime in and help do that for you.
Oh man, number one support, now that I have a video editor, is staying focused. What's my roadmap? Not trying to do all the things at the same time.
I love this. All right, we're going to crowdsource this one. This is going to be like a good poll post on LinkedIn. As a founder, how do you stay focused and not get distracted by all the things?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to give like a shameless plug just because I love the work that you're doing. All of you corporate people who are planning your Christmas parties and need something fun and out of the box to do, the Liquor Connoisseur would be the best at bringing an experience and education and fun for your party. So make sure you connect with Crystal on any event that you have coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Overwhelmed and Over It podcast. This is the place where we have real life conversations around being a founder, so that way we can talk about our failures and our lessons, and we can all learn from each other. If you are like, yes, I need all of this and I need to get out of my to-do list, then you absolutely need the free Productivity Quickie guide. Yes, I called it the Productivity Quickie for a reason, because it's the greatest 15 minutes of your life. This framework that took me from drowning in all of my to-dos for the last 15 years to dancing at noon on a random Wednesday, it is in the show notes. Make sure you grab your copy.